Well, hi, Jason, and hi, anybody who watches this in the future. We're here for another Focus to Evolve book chat. My name is Tana, if you haven't caught that in the past, and Jason is on the other end of this conversation. Hi, Jason.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing great today because today we are talking about fun. Specifically, we're going to talk about the book, The Power of Fun: How to Feel Alive Again by Catherine Price. And my goodness, what a lofty title that is for a book. Now, Jason,
Bold.
why did we choose this one?
Well, I think that we choose this one. I know in our trainings and coachings and keynote speeches, a lot we talk about being in the trance of busyness.
Mm-hmm.
And heck, I mean, I'm a hypocrite. I'm talking to people about this and coaching on this, and I still fall into it. It's a thing that all humans do. I mean, the life piles up on you, and all of a sudden we are busy, and it doesn't feel very alive. And if several days in a row stack up into busyness, well, we need to engineer something different in. And if several weeks or months or even a whole life
Yeah.
stacks up into busyness, well, this author said, wait, we need to talk about this a little bit. And before we, jump in, I guess the essence of it, of why we're reading it, is that when some professionals hear the word fun or play, they have a little bit of an allergic reaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not about, this author says, really, it's not about work versus fun and play. It's actually about our life done well.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a lot more play and fun kind of mushrooms up and develops from that position. So we got to engineer in how to do life well, and fun quite naturally comes. Play quite naturally comes because we're playful creatures by nature, some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we're reading it. I think this is actually a really important lesson, because if we're not enjoying this one life
Mm-hmm.
that's going away by the minute, it's not coming back in this form anyway. Wow, maybe we should push pause and think about, how do we do it differently? How about
Right.
you?
Yeah. Yeah, fun and play, it's almost like they're swear words for adults. Like those are things that we did when we were children, and we don't have time for fun and play anymore. And anybody who says that they do, they're doing something wrong. And you and I are both firm believers that that is that's the opposite of what we should be thinking. Like if something is not fun and it is not play, then maybe we shouldn't be doing that thing at all, because like you said, those minutes are tick tocking away as we speak. And if your fun is just, or if your life is all just dreariness and busyness and being an adult and doing the things that you're supposed to do as an adult, then what are we doing? What is the point?
It's funny, it kind of, when you're saying that, it's like, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, that doesn't sound very fun.
But
It's
that's
not
what
very
adults,
fun.
we as adults feel like our talking points when we're speaking to other people. It's got to be, oh, my life is a dreary drudge every day. I never sleep. I only take care of my kids. I never have time for myself. And that's the way you're supposed to sound as an adult. And just, if you ever need people to like hang your hat on and say, oh, well, that person thinks that fun is a really vital part of their life. So I think it's not so out of the question that I think I should have some fun in my life. Then let Jason and I be that hook to hang your hat on, because we firmly believe in finding time for fun in your day.
Yeah,
And that's what this book is all about.
that's what it's about. And as we just kind of distill this and double click into the fun subjects she covers, the other thing, it's not just fun and play versus work. The other misunderstanding is fun and play versus productivity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one or the other. It's actually when you're in a playful state, like we teach people how to enter flow state deliberately at work, that's a kind of fun, that's a kind of play. Your brain gets to thrive in this way, in a protected way, where your cognitive abilities increase by up to 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a form of this play. So we don't want to have any word allergies here against play or fun. We're actually talking about optimizing and it feels better. And then we plop this word fun on it because
Mhm.
it feels so cool. It's fun.
Right.
Yeah. What are
Yeah.
some of the big bullet points you wanted to cover today on this?
Well, one of her big points in this book is that she's talking about true fun. And for her, true fun is not fake fun. And for her, in her life, fake fun is like binging TV shows or shopping for things that she doesn't need or spending mindless hours on social media. Like for her, she's talking about something a little more lofty than that. She's talking about true fun isn't frivolous, it's profound. And true fun is the confluence of playfulness, connection, and flow, which flow is definitely something that we talk about in our trainings. So, and she says you feel in touch with your authentic self when you're having true fun. And so she's not talking about just the easy things to do. It's kind of more of a mindset of getting deep with your fun. So that was interesting to me that she wasn't just talking about like frivolous
Yeah.
pursuits, but what are those things that make you feel authentically yourself? That's the kind of fun we're looking for here.
Perfect word there she used, I think. Yeah, this fun thing, it's not something you go do. Uh, Fun is synonymous with being deeply authentic, to kind of
Mm-hmm,
play off of what you just said.
mm-hmm,
Fun happens automatically when you allow yourself, when you engineer a life that allows you to be deeply authentic and follow an inspired way.
mm-hmm,
Um, some roles make that harder than others. That's just true. Some company cultures make that harder than others. That's just true. But you should still try to schedule in some reprieve, even when you're in the darkest of environments.
mm-hmm.
And that is on you to do, because in those environments, it's never going to be handed to you. You gotta just not be a victim in those, and try to engineer it in when you can. If you need to leave the building for lunch, if that kind of alleviates things, that's great. In other environments where they're starting to wake up to these, and how healthier people and people with more well-being are way more productive and profitable, they're allowing for some of that. And some industries are really not easy to do this in. That's just true. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. But a lot of industries could do a lot of work in this and get their healthier people to work bigger, better, faster, more authentically. And it feels like fun to the employee, and making bigger profits feels like fun to the company.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. So this book, she gives some pointers on how to find the things that you find fun in your life. Like she suggest keeping a fun times journal for all of those things that kind of light you up, because sometimes you forget the things that light you up. I actually have a list that has like, it's called my It's a Great Day to list. And I just have like things that
Cool.
have um continuously felt really fun and joyful to me. And so on days when I'm not quite sure what I want to do with myself, I always have that list. And none of them are weird, like I need to fly across the world and visit Japan or anything like that. It's just like driving along this specific road feels really fun to me. Like every time I drive along this specific road, I love it. So just driving along that road, or the tea room that we have in town, I go there like once a week because it feels different and good when I am there. Like there's just this long list of things that are not outside the bounds of like money and budget or time. They're all, most of them are very simple things, but they just have continuously given me this hit of, I don't know if it's dopamine or what chemical it is, but it just feels like I am being playful. I feel connected to either other people or the space that I'm in, and I'm in flow because I'm completely just in the place that I'm at and I'm doing the thing that I'm doing at that moment. So do you have a fun times journal or a list lingering?
I actually don't. I'd like that suggestion. I get it. Like, have the menu so that you can kind of want to have the intention towards those things. But one of the other things that she had said that resonates more with me is the kind of like the nowness that you
Mhm,
have to be in so that it spontaneously sprouts
mhm,
this fun feeling or this feeling. Um, like when you're a great litmus test of is this a bucket list item or a fun thing, a true fun thing that she's talking about, is that you would never you don't have the desire to social media post true fun. You're
mhm,
too entrenched in it. You're not thinking at meta level like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, I need to post it. You're outside of yourself. You're not now anymore. You're not being present anymore, and that's not true fun. You also, in true fun versus bucket list item, in true fun you're kind of thinking, actually you're not thinking at all. You're not thinking about consequences. You're not thinking about results. Those are all indicators that you're outside of true fun. She talks about the $7,000 golf trip that people go on, and we're all kind of familiar with these. I should say the proverbial $7,000 golf trip, where that's actually more of a dopamine kind of thing, where it's it's been described as fun by the modern world, but actually going under consciousness by drinking 44 beers and an 18 round of golf, that's not the same nutrient as
mhm,
true fun, as this
mhm,
cosmic giggle that you have at your tea room when talking to someone interesting next to you.
mhm.
Two very different nutrients. One's a little bit healthier for you
Yeah,
and less expensive.
yeah.
But most of the people in the modern world are doing this. What they are calling fun is actually distraction from suffering, a
Mhm,
lot of that, and also pleasure seeking, a lot of that. And again, totally different nutrient than the true fun she's talking about. The true fun she's talking about is a very natural state of humans when you engineer in a spacious life or engineer in the best you can where you protect yourself and allow some reprieve and recovery for yourself. So I hope some of these words are kind of resonating with you as true. And if you've never really done the inner engineering to say, wow, what do I actually need? What kind of spaciousness do I need to engineer in so that this fun can naturally pop up like mushrooms? And it really does. And it happens quickly. So making a journal or a list like you did, I think that's a really cool exercise because then you can look at that list and kind of know what your authentic self actually does versus what this really busy, heavy, loud culture says. And those are two different lists, probably most of the time. Just an
mhm.
awareness exercise.
Right. Yeah. She talks about pursuing your passions in order to find things that would be fun. Some people, when they are told to pursue their passions, they don't exactly know what their passions are. And
Right.
for me, a really helpful signpost in my life of this might be a place that you're curious and it might be an avenue for you to explore more is when do I feel envious of other people? Like envy to me is not a negative thing. It is, oh, this person is showing you an avenue that your soul is like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe don't be mad at them for pursuing it, but this is a thing that you might want to pursue. So I always
Yeah.
looked at envy as the not negative emotion that people make it out to be. Like a friend of mine, she was doing some woodworking hobby that she had just like picked up. And as I was looking at it and watching her explain it and looking at the tools, I was like, huh, I feel envious right now. And like, oh, that probably means that I'm kind of interested in this myself. So maybe someday I'll be looking at like woodworking tools and figuring that stuff out. I haven't touched it yet, but it was kind of a guide for me. I don't feel envious when I watch like a NASCAR race. I mean, I obviously there are many people who love driving fast and they even make careers out of it, but I don't feel any sort of way when I look at that, but I do when my friend is
Yeah.
woodworking. So I think envy is an often overlooked kind of emotion that is a really good guide for getting you to places and finding your passions that you wouldn't necessarily know existed without it.
Oh, I like that's a juicy one. A healthy twist on envy. Well
Mm-hmm.
done, Kenna. Now this part of this fun too is, some of the things in coaching up here. I'm not sure if you can read that on the screen,
Hmm.
but when I say, hey, let's go to tomorrow, let's see how tomorrow's looking, because today's already on you. You're not, just do your best. But tomorrow we can actually engineer. We can be the architect and the engineer of tomorrow and next week. So let's check out tomorrow. They click over to tomorrow, and I say, okay, let's do the time math there. Because if you got too much on your plate, it's going to be no fun.
Hmm.
Period. End of sentence. You already lost. But this is tomorrow we're talking about here, so we can fix it now. Isn't that genius? And
Hmm.
the other bit of math that we want to do is the bliss math. I'm
Hmm.
stealing from Joseph Campbell here. Follow your bliss. Not all day, because we got money to make, and we got things we do have to do, but there should be chunks of time where you are following your bliss.
Hmm.
It's also said, follow your curiosity. That's a hard thing. Just go to stillness. You'll know. You can't get it from anyone else, only you. And you can only get it when you're quiet. Because
Hmm.
when that monkey mind's going and the day's busy, you're not going to hear the whisper of your real self. So you won't even know what bliss is. You won't know what your curiosities are. But that envy thing that you just said, that's actually a pretty loud voice.
Hmm.
That even trumps business sometimes. You see something that catches your eye and you're like, ooh, I kind of would like that.
Hmm.
Well, okay, let's just marinate in this feeling for a little bit. What is it about that that you actually want?
Right.
And it's probably a really good indicator. That I love that. Thanks for bringing that up.
And negative emotions, our brains love to look at negative emotions. So even if you see envy as a negative emotion, that's a good thing because it means your brain's going to filter it into your consciousness faster, which is wonderful. Because then if you just manage it and say, oh, this isn't negative. I don't want that person's relationship. I want a relationship like that person has. I see really good aspects of that and I want that for myself. So how do I get that in my own life? Not by stealing that person's relationship, but by finding my own and kind of making the choices that would be necessary in order to have that kind of a relationship in my own life. I like envy.
Let's love envy. Let's love it.
Helps me to find my passions and to find my fun. So
What else is going on in this book that lit you up? Anything else?
um it wasn't as deep of a book. I didn't go as deep into it as I normally do because I can only hear stay away from social media so many times before my brain's like, oh, okay, yeah, I've got it. I got it. Don't do so much social media. Don't binge watch Netflix. Yes, I've heard that 15,000 times. I don't need to hear it again. So for this book, there was some of that. But
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
same time, I like how it makes a case for fun and
yeah.
it doesn't just put it on the back burner as something that only the lucky few should have in their
Yeah.
lives, but that every human being, including adults, especially adults, should
Yeah.
make the time and craft their lives to make time for this important aspect of life.
Yeah. So true. The only other thing that kind of popped up that I found resonated with me deeply was a lot, this true fun is allowing your rascal to
Yeah.
come out a little bit. Be a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a rascal. Yeah. Poke some fun. Maybe just have some, just have a good time. Have the courage to do that. And
Yep.
that does require you to kind of set what society might think of you aside a little bit and to just be your authentic self. And we all have that playful rascal inside.
Right.
The corporate setting has by and large kind of set that aside, but not all the way. I was in corporate land for almost 20 years, and there were people having fun. I mean, and it was all right. So I would encourage everybody to let that rascal out of the cage and keep it going.
Yeah.
Not recklessly, not in ways that hurt people's feelings.
Right.
With a kind rascal.
All
Let the
right.
kind rascal out, and then go from there. But other than that, great book. Glad we read it. It definitely was a beautiful reminder of some things for me, and it did teach me some things. But it definitely reinforces that you have to engineer in that day that ushers in space and well-being, at least to some degree. And from that space, fun, the feeling of fun and healthy, true fun hits you. And it's not a doing thing. You set the environment up, and and then you're there. It happens. You don't go and do it necessarily.
Right. And if
Any
anybody
final
listening
words?
has no idea how to fit fun into your life, because how do you fit anything into your life? Life just kind of happens to you and you react. Take some coaching from Jason and I, because that's what we teach people to do. And we love talking
Yes.
about it. So if you don't think you can find time for fun, we'll help you. Give us a call, get on our website, focusrevolve.com, and we will be there to be your coaches and your little genies on your shoulder. But check out the book. We didn't talk about everything, just like always. Check it out, and you won't be disappointed, because fun should be more of a part of everybody's life. Do you have any other final comments, Jason?
No, great closing. Let's go do it. Let's go have some
All
fun.
right. Well, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you at the next book chat.